All right. So I just wanted to make a quick video, kind of example, I suppose, for anybody who wants it, um, for this expert guide exercise. And of course, I'm going to use myself as the example in this video. This is the first look that we have at um, kind of a measuring stick on post-traumatic growth, right? How do we know that we've made it? Or how do we know that we're growing or not growing or stagnating? You know, we want a measurable way to account for these things. And this is where this expert guide, the 10 attributes, come in. So looking at mine, so I rank mine with every attribute. I rank 1 through 10 of each attribute, which gives me, in the end, the list by number of the ones that I'm doing well in, down to the ones that I'm struggling a lot more in, and oftentimes those things flip-flop. So as of right now, my 10 is positive regard. Positive regard, I suppose it's like being optimistic towards others, which can be really difficult at times. So we're all kind of struggling in our own way, you know. When we're in traffic and dude cuts us off, well, he's in traffic too, and he might be an asshole, but you might be an asshole too. So, you know, to me, positive regard is a 10 for myself at this point in my life because of my experiences, personal experiences over the last few years in particular. It's been a struggle. It was a struggle before to look at people as, you know, kind of their suffering might not be equal, but we're at least equal in the journey of suffering. It's a very difficult thing to do when you're stuck in your own kind of rut. So it's been a journey to get to that point where something like positive regard could be a 10 for myself. Second on the list for me is patience. I'm not patient in all things, but in this case, you know, we talk about patience as understanding, again, that everybody is on a journey and that you need to be the person who is steady for these others, right? So as an expert guide, it's not enough for you to say, well, everybody else is impatient, so I can be impatient too. You know, you have to understand what you've been called to do in your life, and you need to do it. You need to be patient. You need to be a foundation. You know, the person that people come to when they just need somebody to lean on. And I think for myself, I put that one as a 9.5 because I'm doing pretty okay with that. And I've, you know, thanks to Boulder Crest and other various things, have gotten better. And also with that, I think these kind of go hand in hand, which is being open to sharing your experiences, not overpowering somebody with them or trying to win, because I think a lot of guys do that, where it's like, oh, you have an experience? Well, let me tell you about mine, you know. But an openness when people need that, you know. So I got a 9.5 in that. Next is fully present at 9. I would like to improve on that a little bit. We all still get distracted. But in a conversation, like we practiced when we were out at PATHH, you know, you're sitting across from somebody. It's like you shouldn't be checking out mentally. You shouldn't, try not to be distracted by the things that are going on behind you, things like that. Your phone. We need to be fully present and engaged in the things that we're doing when it comes to other people and when it comes to ourselves. If we're not fully engaged in our own pursuits too, and we're kind of just half-assing everything, then you're shortchanging yourself as well. So I gave myself a 9 on that. Silent listening. This one has been the biggest change for me. I gave myself an 8 in silent listening now, and I do regularly stop, listen first. First listening, and only speaking when it's appropriate, and not just sitting there, right? Going into the fully present thing, not just sitting there waiting. Oh, I'm waiting for my opportunity to come and cut in. You're actually listening, like an active listening that's happening, just like we practiced. So I've got an 8 in that, which before I started Warrior Path, was that almost 3, about 2.5 years ago. Every time I got nervous, I just talked nonstop. Was just kind of my Achilles heel. It was this thing that was brought up often out at Boulder Crest. So all right, I give myself an 8 also in curious. Now I have the curiosity part down, but I'm not the best at asking those pertinent questions of people. I don't think very quickly anymore. I've mentioned it before. I had a traumatic brain injury, so my cognitive process it just takes me a very long time to really process information, and some things get lost in translation at times. But I was never really good at that, at asking questions. I'm kind of a go my own way, and I'll figure it out. And if I don't figure it out, it wasn't meant to be. But I'm incredibly curious for my own sake. It's just, I would love to translate that more into asking more pertinent questions of people. Got an 8 in prepared. So I am prepared. I'm in a graduate program now. You have to be prepared to a degree. I work with Boulder Crest, those kinds of things, but I still do procrastinate. I tend to put things off until it gets real close. Then, there was times that I would put it off so far that I couldn't even get it done. And I was just like, cut my losses and roll on with my life, which I don't like if things slip through the cracks anymore. But, obviously I would love to not procrastinate. And that's for my own goals. When it comes to other people's goals and the things that other people need, I'm much more on top of that than I am on my own stuff, for whatever reason. I think that's pretty common with people. Congruence. Am I congruent? So I give myself a 7. Head to heart translation. Okay, so like you think it or you feel it and you think it, you feel it, and then you move it into actions, and those things should be aligned with one another, running parallel and working as a well-oiled machine. Mine is certainly getting better with that, but I'm still working on the heart part. I'm a thinking machine. I'm a thinking man. I think a lot of men are more than a feeling man. And sometimes those things are just not aligned with one another, and I don't consider the feeling aspect of things, and then my thoughts get out of whack with everything. And next thing you know, I'm like in conflict with my wife or in conflict with my kids or whatever, and that can be problematic. So still some work to be done there. Honesty, being honest, I have a 6 on that. So it's over half, but it's not quite where I would like that to be. my yes still often means maybe. I think that comes from my positive regard, is that I want to do the best that I can for a lot of people. Um, yeah, it's one of my daughters. But and say hi, Ashling. Hi. Roll out. Okay. Well, I can't. Mommy has to approve of that. So scram. Thanks. So honest, yes means maybe. A lot of times, I'm trying. I really want to get it done, but I can't quite get it done. Um, kind of the Iraqi way of doing things, I suppose. Right, where they say yes. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll be there. This means, well, I might be there. Um, Mostly at this point, it does mean that, and mostly at this point, when I say something, yes, that's it's absolutely going to be that way. But there are still those times where I backslide in situations where there's a little bit of pressure or something like that, where you really want to, you're hoping to you're being a little more optimistic than maybe the situation warrants. And last is punctual. I gave myself a 4, and I think that's being generous on myself because, to be honest, I'm hardly ever punctual. The times I will be punctual have to do with, again, other people. So if it's a job interview, okay, punctual. If it's getting the girls to school, okay, that's punctual. Um, but overall, for myself, things like that, if I especially if I made the plans, then I'm not. I don't feel any need to be punctual to my own, birthday party, so to speak, right? Um, so yeah, I'm not really I would not at all. No, and nobody would characterize me as being a particularly punctual person. So that's that. You can see my numbering system there. Um, I went 1 to 10 on each thing, and just kind of made notation of that, and then I was able to kind of rank those um, effectively on a list, so I can just see that kind of snapshot of where I stand as far as those things go.